Well, actually, after a few days away, because I was busy with things, it is now time for Week 6 of the 2020 DCFL season. So as we take a look at the current stands in the Eastern Conference, of course, Jacksonville still leads Indianapolis, with Philadelphia having a tiebreaker over New York, and Baltimore having the tiebreaker over Boston. Then in the Western Conference, Chicago's just running away with it, with a 3-game lead over second place Seattle, who has a tiebreaker over Mexico City and San Diego, followed by Oakland and Kansas City. And now we take a look at the games for Week 6, as of course it'll start off with the Kansas City Airheads visiting my Baltimore Charm, then Indianapolis visiting Mexico City, then Jacksonville visiting San Diego, then it'll be New York visiting Oakland, and then the next two games are actually surprisingly important, as it'll be Seattle visiting Boston, as those two are definitely in play for the playoff spot still in their conference, and finally Philadelphia versus Chicago, the only game this week with two teams with a winning record. And then we take a look at the Week 6 results, and as my Charm destroyed Kansas City, I don't know what is up with the Airheads. How are they 0-6? They should be competing well in that division, and they are still losing. Unbelievable. And then Indianapolis destroys Mexico City 28-6. Then Jacksonville destroys San Diego 27-10. And then New York shuts out Oakland. Just like Kansas City, how is Oakland struggling? I'm stunned how bad Kansas City and Oakland have been, as New York has now won 3 in a row. Seattle loses to Boston 20-6. How about that? The Boston expansion team, 3-3 so far this year. Not bad. If only they were in the other conference, then they'd be talking about playoffs, because right now they're not. And finally, Chicago beating Philadelphia, as they still remain undefeated. So as we now take a look at the updated the standings, as Jacksonville still leads Chicago, with New York having the third seed, followed by my Baltimore Charm having the tiebreaker over Philadelphia and Boston, and then Philadelphia having the tiebreaker over Boston. Then in the Western Conference, Chicago has a 4-game lead over second place Seattle, and then Mexico City in the playoff spots, followed by San Diego, Oakland, and still winless Kansas City. Man, that Western Conference is so weak this year, so weak. So then finally we take a look at the Week 7 games, as will be Philadelphia at Baltimore. That's a big one. Then Boston at Indianapolis. That'll be a big one. And of course, who we kid? All the games in the Eastern Conference are huge, as New York will visit Jacksonville in their first rematch from their conference championship game. And then the Western Conference divisional matchups will be Mexico City at Kansas City, followed by Seattle at Oakland. And then really the only big game of the week down there is Chicago visiting San Diego. And that is Week 6 of the 2020 DCFL season. I cannot wait to see what Week 7 comes up. So see you guys next time.